Well, good morning, Dirtfish Rally friends, and welcome to day 2 of the Rally Italy Sardegna. Listen, we had a dramatic day yesterday with lots of incidents, lots of crashes, lots of heartache out in the stages. What can we expect today? A lot more of the same. Now, what I've got to tell you about first thing is that we've had a big weather change. Do you know what? I didn't have to go outside. I didn't have to look at my app. I only had to look at David Evans and how he's dressed to tell there'd been a big weather change. David, the jumper has come on.
The jumper's back, Cole, because it's not cold. It's not cold
Far
at
from
all,
it.
but it is wet. It's damp.
I think this is what we have to talk about. You know, we have seen, it's not as if we haven't seen rain in Sardinia before. It does rain quite regularly. But we have had a little bit of unexpected overnight rain, more than a little bit. It's rained quite heavily where we are and where the service park is in Olbia. The stages are to the southwest.
That's we should have said that's why we're standing up.
It is why we're standing
our
up.
seats are very wet.
We didn't want wet bottoms, to be honest with you this
neither
morning.
of us could be bothered to go back down the stairs to get a towel to dry the chairs.
Yeah.
That's why. But which way is southwest?
Southwest is over this way, David.
Is it?
Mountains across here. That's the interesting thing. Where is the weather coming from?
The most cloud is that way.
Yeah,
it's very dark that way.
The forecast was for rain overnight. That's what we got. The question is, how much rain have we had in the stages and how will it affect the stages? Well, what do we have today? 8 stages, 129 kilometres, round about 80 or so miles, touch more than yesterday. The opening stage, David, it's one that's been used an awful lot. Generally, it's one that does cause issues. It causes issues because of the dust. It's in amongst those low cork trees. We're not going to see that this morning. But what is the surface going to do with this rain on it?
What I think, the big point here is that it has rained. It hasn't rained. It hasn't been an absolute deluge overnight. But what the big thing is that it's still very warm. It's still, what time is it now? It's sort of 7 o'clock in the morning. It's probably 20, 22 degrees already. It is going to dry very, very quickly. And once you get a bit higher, I don't know, the second stage goes a touch higher.
Over the mountains.
Certainly the third,
does,
the afternoon loop. It'll dry very, very quickly, won't it? So, it's not going to have a huge impact on the surface.
I don't think so, but it'll keep the dust down. Don't forget the sandy-based surfaces here.
Yeah.
It'll keep the dust down. We'll watch with interest, and folks, keep an eye on dirtfish.com, on our Twitter feeds, on our Facebook feeds, because we'll be up there amongst the stages and we'll let you know exactly what it's like. David, we have some interesting battles ahead. Yesterday we did see some drama out in the stages. The guys at the front had a magnificent day. Tänak, Sordo had a good day. Ogier had a magnificent day.
It was interesting though, wasn't it, when we talked to Andrea Adamo last night, that he had the same sort of feeling that I mentioned. I'm not saying that we're on the same wavelength.
Well, I think you were. Disappointment with Sordo. You should have done better.
There should have been more pace there from him. But equally, we don't know what he's done. This is the key here, Colin, is that nobody really knows who's done what with tyres.
That's it.
Who's used exactly, because you can take a set of hards in the car, but where do you put them or where do you put the softs? So until Sunday afternoon, we don't really know who's got what and who's used what. So it might be that he's saved more tyres.
And that could be interesting, particularly with this morning's conditions. Don't forget that we do have this interesting format here. Yesterday, it was 2 stages, repeat those stages back to service. We have that again today. 2 stages this morning, they're repeated. So we get a first pass, a second pass, back to service. Could make it interesting. Tänak, for me, was the guy who looked really interesting yesterday.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to be touched today. That is most unfortunate.
Good morning,
producer boy, or do we wait?
Good morning, Olbia.
Dear, who needs an alarm clock when you're living next door to a church? Folks, stick with us. It doesn't last that long, honestly.
Is that time to go to church?
Time to go to the stages, I think, is what it's saying. Let's have a little enjoy of the bells, David.
I've not heard that before.
It's an interesting tune.
Yeah. It is quite a good way to wake up.
That seagull on the top's not that bothered, is he?
The seagull on the top must be deaf. Man, you've never really seen ears on a seagull, have you, before? That's it, we're done.
Oh, dearie me. There we go.
You're awake now, aren't you?
You don't need a double espresso in the morning, you just need to listen to the bells. Tänak was imperious yesterday. He really was. I expect him to kick on today, but as we all know, these stages, they are full of jeopardy. They really are. You need to be so careful. They need to be treated with so much respect.
And, let's not forget that the front runners are now 10 cars back on the road. and we
Even
said
more
yesterday.
jeopardy, you'd suggest,
Yeah,
wouldn't you?
totally, because you do get those rocks dug out, and they're so, they are so committed to their lines, aren't they? It's, there's lots of jeopardy lurking around every corner.
that word.
Absolutely.
Around every corner.
But it also, Carl, sorry to
Yeah,
jump in. The big thing for me is how now does the top three evolve? Do we discount Elfyn Evans? Is he out of it? And what, how much will Sordo push on? And how much would he be allowed to push on and
For
chase?
me, Sordo's big concern is changeable grip, and he mentioned it in the interview last night.
Yeah.
He enjoyed the stages where, again, we've seen
Where he
it
can
so
feel the
many
car
times. He
beneath
could
him.
feel the car, he could
Yeah.
feel the grip, and he really pushed on. If we get some sections that the rocks come out a little bit damp on those rocks, a little bit slippery, Sordo could easily start falling back, certainly towards Ogier. I don't think towards Evans. Evans is 40 odd seconds behind Sordo.
But Portugal, first stage Sunday morning in Portugal,
Yeah.
we saw it straight away,
Yeah.
didn't we? That he didn't feel the car straight away. There was some changeable grip, and that was it.
That was it.
The confidence was
10
gone
seconds.
in the first
10
couple
seconds.
of corners.
So, we can't write off any battles in that top 5 or 6. Obviously, we are watching the battle between Neuville and Evans. Evans needs to find a better setup this morning, and fingers crossed he leaves service with a good setup. Takamoto Katsuta just doing his thing in 6th place. David, what should we be looking out for? It is that new stage. You were talking to me this morning about that new stage. Not been run since 2005. It's the...
Portigadas.
Yes, that's
stage.
the
It's the first stage
afternoon.
this afternoon.
First
Yeah,
stage this
exactly.
afternoon.
14 kilometres, so around 9 miles.
That really could be one to watch, because the first 10 Ks or so of that stage, really technical, uphill, twisty. You've got to have perfect notes for that. They're all going to be interesting, the stages this morning, but have a look at that one, the first one in this afternoon's loop.
And the only one that they've made complete fresh set of notes for.
Absolutely. It is.
Although maybe some of yesterday's were turned around.
Oh, I don't know, David. There we go. He's confusing me at this time in the morning. My head is still ringing with the bells, folks. Is it going to be ringing my head with the excitement, the drama of Rally Italia Sardegna? Stick with us on dirtfish.com. The jumper is heading to the stages.